Welcome to Life Words Day by Day, where we've been looking at 2 Samuel chapter 9 and this idea of the kindness or the covenant that David had made with Jonathan. And here's one feature of covenants that we are witnessing in action. Covenants made in the past are to determine the faithfulness and direct the obediences of the present. Now, what we must remember is that 2 Samuel 9 is given to us in the light of the last two chapters, where God made a covenant with David and David's household. And then in chapter 8, we learned what the kingdom looked like under the reign of this covenant and under David as king. David defeated enemies. David worshiped the Lord by obeying the law, and David brought justice and equity to the land. Those are trademarks of the kingdom of God under his covenant. Those are the trademarks of the king. And we see that continuation in chapter 9, but we see it on a more personal level. We see characteristics of the right type of king in God's kingdom. So what we are seeing and reading about shows us in illustration, or it gives us a glimpse of the heart of God. And what we see is that the heart of God is faithful to his covenant, and as such, brings all kinds of peace and blessing to his people. But we must remember that chapter 9 and David's life is preparing us for something better, something greater, someone better and greater. And we see this same type of covenant language in action in the life of Jesus. Particularly, I'm thinking of John 17, just before Jesus is betrayed and arrested and crucified. Listen to Jesus as he prays to the Father at the end of his ministry. Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son, that your Son may also glorify you. And now, O Father, glorify me together with yourself, with the glory which I had with you before the world was. The covenant of redemption was a transaction that involved both obligation and reward. The Son entered into a sacred agreement with the Father. He submitted himself to the obligations of that covenantal agreement. He finished the work. An obligation was likewise assumed by the Father to give his Son a reward for doing the work of redemption. It was Jesus' commitment to the covenant that he had made with the Father that kept Jesus on the cross. Just as David said, for the sake of Jonathan, Jesus Christ said, for the sake of my Father. Jesus tied himself to the mast of the cross and would not come down until all had been accomplished. As you pray today, please remember Charles and Mona Costa, our Middle East coordinators, and also remember the God Life Word broadcast that's heard throughout Ghana.